Can you dap yourself? I don't think you can dap yourself. Welcome back to my devlog series of my speedrunning project known as Project Exceed. Last video covered on creating mechanics and how to utilize those mechanics, so I'm gonna cover the level designing process. This is kind of a retrospective thing because it is now February. That video was recorded a few weeks ago. I have bleached my hair since that video came out. I do have the same hoodie as last video, but I wear more than a Linkin Park hoodie, I promise. Today I'm gonna be covering the level designing process for the game. I'm gonna cut to the bullshit and just get straight onto it. I'm actually very bad at documenting my work. Unfortunately, that is a weak spot I have that I will get better at. This is not the finished level. This is an old iteration of the level. But I'm gonna show what we started off with before I started to actually draw. So this is a script that my friend made where you can put out actors in the level, and every time you hit play in Unreal Engine, it will take a screenshot and save it to your drive. Now, I have a meme I enjoy quite a bit. It's a tutorial of drawing an owl, and my documentation process is basically make the circle, step 1, and step 2 is draw the rest of the owl, which is here. That's quite a big leap. So I'm gonna try to backtrack and like do a retrospect thing instead of how I ended up with draw the fucking owl step, because that's kind of where this went. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little designer insider thought thing. Again, this is not final. It is an old iteration of the level, but it is a representative blockout of what a bigger part of the level looks like. Sorry, that's a bag. I'm gonna just assume you watched the previous video and you know about the mechanics. If not, you're just gonna see. So I'm gonna start off the level here. Just a little ramp, get some elevation going. I quite like this intro. It's very basic. It is a blockout still. It looks better with art assets and stuff, obviously. But it's a blockout. We're presented with our first enemy here. He's glowing red because I want him to stand out from the rest of the environment. Don't want to have just white because the rest of the, area is gray. So, and also a bit brownish. So I do want the enemies to stand out a little bit for the most part. Here's a pretty big gap. You can't really jump over it. So we are going to fall. But what this piece of the level is supposed to introduce is the concept of dashing. The level is made in mind with the fact that the player does know about the mechanics, by checking a Steam trailer or being told so, or having a tutorial segment of the game. But it is a hypothetical game, it's not a full release, so. But I feel like that is relevant, so I will state it. Yeah, we keep going. We get more elevation. It doesn't really seem like it's in our reach, but hopefully this lower elevation here will be an indication that this is the path, and during playtests I don't feel like people have gotten lost. If anything, I've gotten feedback that this area is a bit wide and could be narrowed down to like this grid here. I will iterate on feedback. I will do a part 2 of the level designer like thoughts and inputs on this piece. But yeah, anyways, let's move on. We have our third enemy here. He dies. And we are greeted with this ledge. This ledge has vines. I think, or the idea behind the vines was to have a sort of signposting that this is the path ahead. What a few players have done during playtest is they try to climb this. You cannot climb in this game. That is not a mechanic. And one of my teachers, he instinctively went like this. And I kind of scratched my head and thought, what the fuck are you doing? And then he like went back to spawn, and I was like, wait, I'm back at spawn, where am I supposed to go? So that was kind of my first indication that this was maybe not the best. And then 2 more people actually did it, even when I swapped the vines for a decal, a white like foothold decal. So in a previous, or in a more updated version of the map, there's a staircase here, which is like an obvious way ahead, but the speedrunner brain will be like, taking the stairs is slow, I can dash up, which was the initial idea from the beginning. But yeah, I just think the signposting here is kind of dumb, and one of my, or well, a mentor figure of mine also said something that I agree with a lot, that level design isn't really a science, it's more of an art form, and you can express art in many ways, shapes, and forms. And you should respect the player's IQ, and having this is kind of a, you know, it's, for one, it's a bait, because the gamer brain thinks that you can climb this. I don't blame people for trying that, and people will never play the game exactly you envision it from the start. That's game dev fact. So it's partially like not baiting the player into thinking they can do something based on prior knowledge from playing other games, but also just respecting the player IQ. So in later versions of the map, this is gone. We're not going to continue doing this. There were other instances of having a ledge like this where you could only dash up. That is no longer the case. You can complete the level without dashing. The gap over here has a small platform, so you can complete the whole level without dashing, but the dash is a tool for the player to utilize to maximize their speedrun, or optimize the speedrun rather. Moving forward, I have a little branching path here. It doesn't have much of a consequence, whatever you decide to choose. There's only one enemy here, there's no enemy here, which is kind of bad. Initial thought was that this path was going to be faster. It actually isn't. But that will be iterated upon, and make it a bit more replayable, and make it more interesting when you do replay runs, that the branching paths actually play out differently. Maybe there's I'm thinking of having a gap here instead, and having a few more enemies that will allow for more fast and like dash heavy gameplay. This route on the previous version of the map that I'm not showing it right now has more enemies here, so it's more shoot, dash, dash. This could be more like dash, 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 shoot, dash, or something like that. Doesn't sound schizo at all when I say it like that, but yeah. Here's some notes for myself of what to put here. I wanted to add birds. I tried making a spline of it. For those who aren't familiar with what a spline is, it is a white line you put in the game editor, and you can have objects follow along with it. So like moving platforms in games, like any platform you played, Mario, like the moving blocks that go up and down or like side to side, they utilize splines, or there is a good chance that they utilize splines. But that is very performance heavy, and having many birds on the splines at all times is very laggy, and so that's bad. But yeah, if it was like a VFX thing instead, I would gladly have the birds, but we're not doing the birds now. And this is waterfall here because it's a waterfall later on. We move on. So this is supposed to be like a first split of the level. This takes like 15 seconds. I think I do it in 15 seconds. The idea first was to have 3 timers in the top right to signalize said splits, but I thought it was kind of overcomplicated, and they like just a messy system to have. It also kind of baits the player to think that if they're not paying attention, that like the splits become not very clear or readable where they happen. I don't know, I liked the idea at first because it's a rally system, like the racing rally thing. I'm a big rally fan, but ultimately decided to just scrap it and have one singular timer. The map doesn't take more than a minute to play through anyways. It would just overcomplicate things. We're not about that. But yes, this is start of the split 2, if you will. And it tutorializes the usage of the dash orbs, the blue UI icon, the sword, which signalizes how much or how many dashes you have. And I thought that the blue orbs would be a good artistic choice to complement that decision. So again, here you can't jump over this. Normally you have to dash. In the current build of the map, you don't just like fall down and die. It's just a little thing. You still have to dash here though, so I lied when I said that earlier. But what I meant is that, well, you have to dash here, but you won't like die and restart the level if you fail it, you know? Is more what I meant with my previous comment. Anyways, we dash over here, and again, people thought you could climb here. There's a staircase here to show that it is indeed the path ahead. Utilizing elevation to also just draw the human eye upwards, I think, and with the red enemy on top of the ledge as well. The idea is that you dash up to kill him, and you feel good about yourself for doing it, and yeah, you progress. I think it's neat. It's a good enemy placement, I think. I pat myself on the back. But also just really like the high tempo of this section. Like you can go up here and then immediately go boom boom. You cannot chain because when you get a dash kill, your dash actually resets, like you get one charge, which allows for like this very fun and fast movement tech. I think it looks very flashy. It feels super cool to do it. I wish I had more of it. Actually, if I were to make another level, if I were to remake the level, I would love to have more, like, boom boom. Like that's 3 dashes in pretty quick succession, and it's very fun to do it. I also like the wall height here when you get on top, because if you come up like this, and then you kind of get to see this guy here, and it's also just kind of fun thing to hop up and shoot him like that. It's like the small moment-to-moment things with the enemy placements that I think are very solid and makes it very fun to play. It's very satisfying to just hop in and play myself during like a lunch break or something like that. I'm not meaning to just honk my own horn, but I'm pointing out the things that I think are very good, that aren't so good and are being changed, and why I want them to change. But yeah, this enemy is changed to stand more over here because I kind of just want to keep going with the dash flow, and having him here, you kind of go like this, and now you're in a very awkward position and you feel like you lose time. You can maybe dash across this gap to save up some time, but it's also very just unnatural and bad for the flow. So he stands right here in the current build, so you kind of get more clean dash upwards. It would maybe even be better if he stood like here, because then you can also get this like small sense of a time skip. You come up like this, maybe lower this wall a bit so you don't bump into it, and then you dash. And then after the dash you see this guy, and you kill him, and then you can come up like this, and then you kill him, and then you realize, oh shit, the wall is lower. Now I just noticed how poor the collision actually is here. I'm going to have to polish that up a bit. But yeah, so there's also skip opportunity, and I want to signal that a bit. Again, I think it's about this curious speedrunner brain should find this by themselves, but I think having this small little thing is also kind of environmental storytelling. Like there's some ruin stuff going on here. It looks kind of neat. It looks a bit cleaner and more cohesive in the current build of the game. So there's this path here. There's a lot of like small elevation bumps I like quite a lot. It makes it less monotonous to just hold W when there's still some changes happening with the camera, as opposed to as if it would just be completely flat. Here's a hole. I just kind of liked having the hole here. There's no insane reason why I had it. It was kind of neat. It makes the environment look a bit more varied. There's a small obstacle. The player might see it and go, oh fuck. Maybe they accidentally fall in, and that could be a funny thing. They're being goofy and not watching their step. But again, it's not a deep reason. I just kind of wanted to have a hole. I think this area is very awkward with the jumps here. This is also changed later on. There's another staircase in the current build, which, yeah, this section is very different than the current build actually, which I'm gonna show at a later time. But this section is very weird. I do not like this section very lot in this current stage, and this is the section that I actually had to, I kind of rebuilt the whole thing. I like to have these as a background thing. Like they're in the current build, they're all the way over here, like scattered around the ocean, kind of. I forgot the water is also different here. Using a different water shader and whole other different lighting setup. But it's fun to see the process of how the level started out and to where it is now. Anyways, where was I? This part is very different. And again, I don't like it. It's very weird elevation over there. This is very unclear metrics. If you can walk up to it, it's like 52 units. I think the player can walk up 55 units in centimeters, that is. Usually I have this kind of slope to signal that you can walk it up, but when you have this, you can clearly see it goes past the white line. This is like 2 units. Kind of wanted to have a solid 50 if anything, but you kind of bait into thinking you can walk up this ledge, which is poor metrics. Again, that is improved. Also this is like 50, 57. You can't walk up that. You can walk up over here though, because it is less than 50. It's kind of a small polished thing, but it's also like if you see someone playtest, they want to go here. They get baited into thinking they can walk up, and that's pretty bad. It feels super bad to play. So very important to touch that up real quick. Especially when you kind of... Over there you can see the path here, you kind of want to do the fast thing. And then maybe you jump too early here, and then you get stuck here. And then you want to reset the run because you lost half a second, and that feels bad in a speedrun game. I'm rambling a lot about like the negatives of this part, but again, I don't think it's very well made. I do like this part with the rooftops. I think it's very cool. Maybe it's the Assassin's Creed 10-year-old in me still talking. But it's kind of fun to just run on rooftops. But this is also very bad metrics. Like, oh, I didn't even think you could jump up that. This should have to be way higher or way lower. This is super bad. This is... I guess the intention was that you could dash, but it's also like, I don't know where you would dash from. Like, you go from here and then like... Yeah, that's so bad. That is very bad. Or even like from here, you walk up like this and then you have to like look straight up and kill him. That's also... But this is growth, you know? It's a beauty in looking at your past work and seeing like where it improved and where it fell short. And I'm just glad that I did not keep this for a very good reason. This is also again bad metrics. It looks like you could maybe jump it up, but you can't. So I wanted to make an enemy type that's flying, kind of to get like a bouncy thing going on. So if you collide with them, you bounce up and you get a dash because you kill them. And there's a pretty neat section over here where you do that. It's kind of fun. It's a lot longer in the current build. I think this was too short and it took way too long to actually make this work the way I wanted them to work. Going back to this little composition here, the idea is that you have like a branching route. You can kind of get hinted towards it's the end over there because it's the only green that is in the actual blockout level. But the main thing is your eye will be drawn to this spot or maybe that guy. Like when you were speedrunning it, like you're going fast, you were thinking about split-second decisions, you're not really gonna notice what's in the corner of your eye. And what's in the corner of your eye is this path down here, which is also just like super unnatural. Again, kind of poor metrics with the roof. You kind of have to like angle yourself very awkwardly. I think this section is okay at best. It's also just like holding W. There isn't any interesting objects that block your line of sight, so you kind of just see everything. Again, this is not kept in the current build. I feel like there should be a counter on the video for how many times I said that. But the only real thing that's kept is this part here is extended with more of the drones to have more of like a diverse gameplay section. And there's also a cave here, and this part is moved closer, and there's more of a mountain thing going on here with a waterfall. It looks very beautiful, if I do say so myself. I'm very happy with how that turned out. See that in the next level design video that I make. Oh fuck, that's good. Forgot where I was. I kind of forgot where I was. I'm not gonna lie. I had a sip of tea and then I immediately forgot what I was saying. I'll go over the first section again because I think this is one of the more like one of the stronger areas that I made, because you can actually do a fair amount of skips here that are very detrimental for like optimizing your time. So this looks different. It is way easier to jump up here and then you can double dash like that and kill him and like keep on going. It is very good for tempo. I think it's a very fun skip to do. That's like where one of the big neon white inspirations came from, is to have that level design, which allows for you to play it normally once and then you kind of experiment and you want to find out like, oh, what can I do? And then you kill these two guys and then you go like that. I thought I could do that with one dash. Again, bad metrics, they have gotten a lot better. I'm glad to see it. We try this again. Okay, I'm not gonna make it with... Okay. That's also a skip. It is very good. I don't know which one is better, actually. They might be like almost as good as each other. I'm not sure. We'll see after I rework this area. I thought the whole level was gonna be more shaped like this and that it would be more suited for skips. But when I first made this, it took like 20 seconds to beat this, when like the level only stretched up to this point. It only took about 20 seconds. I was like, okay, that's kind of a neon white map. I wonder what the next level is. And I was like, maybe I should just continue on the same level, but I vary up the gameplay a bit. So this is just like very fast tempo, I'm trying to lock in here. Yeah, you can beat this section very fast, and it feels really good. I think it's very fun with the gameplay in place. I enjoyed it a lot, and then you kind of come up to this place and you have to choose your path out of the 3 paths available. It's not as intense, maybe. Or, I mean, it can be as intense as that place over there, but the intention is more to like find replay value in that section of the map and see like what's more fun for you. Like maybe you really find enjoyment in bouncing on the flying enemies, or maybe you like the being inside of a cave. This is representative of a cave at the moment, and you can kind of go through the cave very fast. Or maybe you just want to kind of ascend up the mountain. There's a path that goes up through a mountain arch kind of thing, which feels also very cool. So I think every path in the current version of the build has like something to offer, and I think it's very cool to play through each one of them. So instead of just having this super fast and like skip heavy and like super speedrun optimized thing alone in the level design, it kind of becomes more of a, this is more neon white area, and I would say this is more Ghost Runner, and this last part tries to be a mix of both, the best aspects from both the inspiration games. I'll actually do a quick speedrun of what it looks like on this version of the map as the outro for the video. Thank you very much for watching. This wasn't as goofy as I usually make my videos. It was kind of more just talking about creating the actual level. I hope it was still entertaining to watch, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.